Rhythm of Life Community Chorus. Welcome back to my office for another week of skill sessions. This week, I'm very excited to continue talking about solfege and give you a little bit more of a practice routine, maybe some drills that might help kind of get the dexterity of how to spit it all out and how to actually use solfege. Um, So it's kind of the way that I think of it is like practicing scales, like a pianist, in order to play really great repertoire, has to sit down and practice their scales, just like a clarinet. So that's kind of what this is going to be. And then I'll show you a little bit more how to apply it to a piece of music and how I use it in my life every day. So the first thing I will do is share my screen, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and this is just called the Kerwin hand signs. This is a supplement to solfege, but it's more for the kinesthetic approach, like a fingering on an instrument. So if you're, I will say this, if you add this part, the hand signs, to your sight reading and your solfege now, it will feel really challenging right off the bat, but over time, it'll actually benefit you more. So sometimes when I'm singing a piece of music and I have to sing on words and I can't sing it on solfege, I'll actually be sitting there with the hand signs to help me get the right pitches. So let's just, I'll just pull a pitch out of the air. We'll do a major scale all the way up and all the way down, and try to do the hand signs if you can. And this will be our do. Here we go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So that's, I think just starting it, taking it nice and slow like that is really helpful. What I notice is when people try to apply it to a piece of music, a lot of the time it's about spitting out the actual syllable, not even just identifying it, but actually being able to say it fast enough. And then also, particularly when it's descending, I notice people have a hard time. This does say for the Trinity Chancel Choir. I figured I already made this sheet, so I figured why reinvent the wheel? But I will send this to you as well, so you can practice with this. If you look here, this is just the major scale up and down, where we just have longer notes on do for a bit of an anchor. So the way this will sound is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That's a good one to just get your ear in a key, and also to, I think, this part, the ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, that's really tricky for people. So getting just that down first is really helpful. And we'll kind of progress. So this next page, still pretty much just a major scale, but we're just adding one note at a time. So this is do, do, re, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. I think we've done this in choir before. Or the other way that you can, if this helps you to look at this, you can think like do, re, mi, re, do. I think that makes sense. Once you get comfortable with this, whether you're looking at the chart or this score looking thing, then what you can do is say, okay, I'm going to get rid of me, or I'm going to get rid of me and sol even. So then you go do, re, re, fa, re, fa, re, do. See, I even messed up. If I'm getting rid of do and sol, it'd be, or me and sol, do, re, fa, re, do. So you see how that's tricky and can kind of add some fun to it. At first, I would start pretty slow, feel very successful, and then increase the tempo. So eventually, do, re, mi, re, do, re, mi. But don't start that fast. And then, let's see, the next page is the same thing, but starting from the top. Do, ti, la, ti, do. I think that makes sense. Same thing, starting slow and then gradually getting faster. This one is good because it helps you hear thirds. So diatonic intervals. Oh, sorry, this is not the thirds. This is feeling each interval of the major scale from do. Do, re, do, mi, do, fa, do, so. Um, so you can kind of see how all of those relate to do. If you're sight reading and you get off and you can still recall, okay, where is do, or even where is do and where is sol, you're in good shape. That's a great skill to have. So even if you're not singing the right notes, you're like, okay, I still know where do is, and this kind of helps with that. And then same thing, string. Do, ti, do, la, do, sol, do, fa, do, mi. The other thing that you can do if you get past this point and you're like, okay, this is easy enough, and I put it in C major so you can easily play with yourself starting on C. The next thing that you can do is instead of starting on do, do, re, do, mi, do, fa, you can choose the starting note would then be re. So do, re, re, do, re, 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 mi, re, fa. And you can do that with every interval. So starting on mi, starting on fa. Um, that's a good one just for kind of finding all of those intervals in your head. The next one, this is the thirds, which are common in music. It's kind of like two steps forward, one step back, right? So do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, so, ti, la, do, ti, re, do. And then you can go down, do, la, ti, sol, la, fa, so, mi, fa, re, mi, do, re, ti, do. If you're a Hamilton fan, bum, 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 ba-da-da, beep. That's how that starts. So that one's good. This one is very similar. If you look, it's still got the same basic structure. Do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol. But we're adding a little passing tone and it's gonna feel like a triplet. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And that's one that I think is really good for just getting comfortable spitting out the solfege syllables, particularly on the way down. Do, ti, la, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. Once you get all this pretty comfortable, again just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, do. Get it going real fast. And then when you look at a piece of music, and you're like, you see a descending scale, you're like, oh, that's do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That's really easy. I can spit it out. It's comfortable. And then it seems like this is more of an kind of applicable way to go about things. So the next thing I want to do, so I'll send this sheet with this video so that you can access that if you'd like to. And then this is a tune that we've done called Inscription of Hope. Let me see, I don't have a tuning fork on me. I'll just make up a key then, that's okay. So here, and we'll talk, I think next week, I'm gonna talk about how to read key signatures. So knowing what this means and then what that means for all of this. For right now, I'll just tell you that we're in the key of E flat major. So if you see the soprano start on E flat, so that's do. By the way, if you're using Sight Reading Factory, remember most of that stuff is gonna start on do anyway for right now. So next week when we talk about how to read key signatures, then you can apply that to several pieces of music. So I'll just say do, mi, sol, do. That'll be our do. So I'll say do, sol, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, la, fa, sol, la, sol, la, ti, do. So believe it or not, that's actually when I sit down, like when I pick music for Rhythm of Life, and I say, okay, I should learn this music, that's what I do. I sit down with a score such as this and I solfege through it. I sing each line. I oftentimes look at, okay, like right here, this is F minor, right? I try to do that kind of analysis, but the first thing I do is just try to read through all the parts. And I always start with solfege just to make sure that I'm dead on. So I'm gonna keep going. And many of you who have sung this will recognize the tune, but I'm going to pretend like I've never seen this. I don't remember where our do was. So, do, that'll be fine. So right here, pick up to 14, sopranos and altos are in unison. So, do, re, mi, re, do. So, do, re, mi, re. So, re, mi, fa, sol, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do. So, do, re, mi, re, do. So, do, re, mi, re. So, re, mi, fa, sol, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do. So pretty straightforward, right? Obviously, I kind of just read through that. If you go through this and you're like, so, do, re, mi, re, do, you might have to check yourself. Like, I'm not sure if I got the right intervals, but I just wanted to show you how that kind of can apply. If you're on Sight Reading Factory and you're at level 1, then Sight Reading through Inscription of Hope might be a little bit above where you're at, but we'll keep going, talking about new things each week. Again, let me know if if you have suggestions. I'm open-minded to what we talk about. Otherwise, I'll just keep giving tips for things that I think are helpful. And if there's 1 or 2 people watching, fantastic. I hope to see you all soon. Hanging in there during the month of August. Crazy times. Love you all. Rhythm of Life, Prof. Ballard.